Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope you guys are all having a great start to the morning. I'm going to start sharing my screen just so you guys can see exactly what it is that I am looking at. So let me go ahead and pull this up. Market just opened. Here we go. All right. So one of the things that I've been noticing right now and is natural gas has been showing signs of a very aggressive uptrend, right? We've been trying to predict the peaks. It's been pulling back, the peaks, it pulled back, it's been peaking out and stuff like that. So you can see all together from, just give it a couple seconds for it to go. So let's see, make this a little smaller. There we go. So you guys can see all your messages right here. We're getting a lot of consolidation right here. One of the biggest things that I want to point out is that natural gas as of right now is an uptrending pattern, easiest way for me to put it. So regardless of how much I want it to pull back, it's not showing any signs of a pullback just yet. It's really just consolidating, but it's done this so many times and then it just continues to break its resistance. I do think that it does have the potential to pull back, but just because I think something's going to happen doesn't mean anything, right? And there it goes, right back at the resistance, and the MACD is in favor of natural gas, which makes sense on why it can continue to drive the price up. So one of the things that I did very well during pre-market hours was identify the direction for /NG, right? So this thing not only started, it was consolidating all kind of, during at like over midnight, right, leading up to my time around 3 to 4. And then there was a break of pattern. Right around like 4:30, it began to make higher highs. It hit highs of about, it just began to continue to push up, pull back, consolidate, and not really sell off. And that's the biggest thing. It's like, that really identified that uptrend pattern. And overall, if you guys look based off of yesterday's patterns, after that aggressive sell-off and where it's at right now, it fully recovered. I mean, that's the easiest way for me to put it. It fully recovered from yesterday's sell-off, and it would have been absolutely amazing. Again, like if I could predict the future, that I would have just like bought and held and, bought in the dip down here and ridden the recovery, but you never know, right? And that's one of the things that it's a very simple thing. It's just, you just can't predict the future. But one of the things that I was able to identify was that it was showing signs of an uptrend. Right, it was showing signs of an uptrend, so I paid a lot of attention during, pre-market hours to natural gas. I think the middle and top VWAP, if you guys were staying up to date with my updates, which again, it's not that any of these are any like stock alerts or anything like that, but from 4:33 in the morning, that's kind of when I began to pick up on this pattern, as you guys can see right here. So natural gas with the strong push up, it was overbought now, and then it just really began to take off every time that, and it's really hard to see kind of, and this is why I don't really like looking at the ETF. It's really hard for me to be able to see that pattern kind of on the actual ETF. And that's why I pay a little bit more attention to the actual future itself. I think that it's much easier, at least in my opinion. And again, if you don't agree, then feel free to use the ETF. But in my opinion, it's much easier to see the pattern here. You can go based off of previous patterns. You can analyze, yesterday's patterns as well. And it just made it super easy to see that like natural gas was bullish, keeping it super simple. This is all I paid attention to as natural gas was pushing up. And I did fairly well. To say the least. So with you guys alone, I made $2,900. So if you put it into perspective, I honestly got a very small piece of the pie in comparison to everything it pushed up. It cleared almost 6%. And just to put it into perspective, I was like, buying the dips, selling the peaks, buying the dips, selling the peaks. So it wasn't like I was trading 3% margins, all the time. If anything, I would wait for it to sell off. So if anything, with this like nearly 6% push, if I played it out perfectly, I probably could have made like $10,000, $12,000. But again, I'm not a perfect trader. Never said I was, probably never will be, right? But I tried to take advantage of an opportunity when I saw value in it. So that went very well, right? How do I say this? It did not go so well with DGAS. Yeah. So what ended up happening was after I started trading. For those that didn't realize, um, yesterday I went to sleep at around 8. I didn't mean to. I meant to take a nap at 8 o'clock, and I was gonna get back up at around 9, maybe 9:30. I set my alarm. I woke back up at 9, and I was like, I'm just so over like the past 2 days that I wanted to go back to sleep. Went back to sleep, woke up. I kept waking up around like 1 to 3 just to check the market, and I it felt good. Woke up at 4 o'clock, no problem. Wasn't even tired. And then with the energy that I had to trade, everything was going like according to plan. I made a very simple mistake where I tried to predict the peak of natural gas. And yeah, one of the things that I noticed is that around this general area where it began to consolidate, it just continued to break every resistance level. And from this point moving forward, right? So if this cleared 3% up, then that means that then Diaz fell about that same amount times 3, right? So about 3% down, and that's essentially what happened. So pretty much all the profits that I made this morning were all given back. And right now, again, this is one of the reasons that I'm kind of just watching this as of right now. I see a lot of consolidation. I'm kind of like not nervous, but I still see there to be some type of bullish pattern based off of yesterday's patterns. It did hit highs of around almost 2.50 or 2.49, right? And I just want to give it, it's definitely consolidating right now. It's not necessarily making higher highs, but it's also not making lower lows. So just wanted to give you guys a quick little rundown about my experience this morning, and kind of like the roller coaster, right? So some good trading, some not so good, and wow, well, this was an aggressive sell-off. So if UWT means that DWT pushed up, UWT should be oversold, and it builds, but it's a nice little downward pattern. So let me go ahead and set my alert here. All right. And then we got /NQ. In my opinion, the direction is not super clear on this. So natural gas is still pushing up, and there it goes. But the direction on /NQ is not super clear on this. And yeah, so it looked a little bit more on the overbought side, and then now it's trading below the overall SMA line, and it's making lower lows. So how did you do with yesterday's profits? So JD, I'm not too sure if you had time, but I did upload my video yesterday, which explained how I ended the day, but the day was red. So yeah, feel free to check that out. I think it was like $324. In that video, I think I kept saying 342. I don't know why I kept confusing the numbers, but yeah. So with /GC, /GC, you could see that it had a nice little push up, nice little push down, push up, push up. So it's very easy, in my opinion, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, very easy to identify the high points, the low points, the high points, the low points, and the high points. So if this pattern continues, then it shouldn't be too difficult to identify, again, the high points, which should be around this general area, which means that then we just have to wait for lower lows. So we can go ahead and set our alerts here. Wait for that confirmation of lower lows and then kind of go from there. So here we go. What do you guys think about this? Any thoughts? Does it make sense on why it can pull back? No? I feel like because it's Friday, I don't know if we've had, reverse city. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but, or because it's Friday, if you guys are just like over the week, or whatever the case may be, you guys might need an early start to the weekend. But I think that we could all agree that it's a little bit more on the overbought side. Look at that MACD, it makes sense on why it can begin to sell off, and then we just have to wait for the confirmation, right? You don't have to be so quick to enter that position. You could wait for those lower lows and those lower highs. So don't be afraid to be patient and be extremely selective. with what you choose to trade today, if even you choose to trade anything, because again, you're the final decision maker on what you choose to trade. So yeah, forward slash CL again is an aggressive descending pattern. It became extremely oversold, and it looks like it's trying to make signs of recovery. Just a little heads up that the overall SMA line has been acting as a resistance. So yeah, here we go. The margin of profit is good. Yeah, I would say also for like, for JNUG, right? For JNUG, JNUG's overbought, so then it would be JDST, and for the potential of reversal, right? It's not bad. LOL, does Asher say that every day? I think so, and I don't know why, but yeah. I feel like I'm being bullied again. Going back to middle school. Here we go. Looks like we're, potentially pulling back. So watch for that EMA line to be a potential support. Is there anything that you guys want to point out for any like major stocks? So Tesla went back up to 240, right? So looking at this on the 180-day chart, you could see that what began to act as a resistance, the SMA line, is now beginning to almost act as a potential support. And Tesla has been showing signs of an uptrend. So definitely something to look out for. Also, one of the things that I do want to point out is that it does have an earnings on 7/24/2019. So just a little heads up for that. How's Shop looking? Okay, Shop is still looking like it's going to be selling off. So maybe the SMA line might be a decent area to kind of look out for. I don't know what you guys think about that, but if you guys kind of see the flow of the pattern, I think it does make sense, right? That this thing can begin to sell off. So feel free to check that out. So DIS. I'm just going to be doing breakdowns for you guys. Yeah, DIS looks a little bit more, in my opinion, on the overbought side and overextended. Not so much of a good deal. So yeah, it can continue to uptrend, but it's not a good deal. So that outweighs. It just doesn't meet that criteria. So we got Vizine, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, calling out LABU. So I see why you're calling it out. It's approaching this general support area where it can bounce at. There's no confirmation. So if I were to, this is just my opinion, if I were to wait for something, it's just indication that this is a support. So I just want to wait there to be higher highs, right? Indicating signs of an uptrend, and LABD, which is the inverse ETF, for that to be showing signs of a resistance. So can I break down DWT? Heck no, how dare you ask me? Of course. So I'm going to do that on the 1 day, 1 minute chart, because I know a lot of us focus on that when it comes down to day trading, right? Looking at forward slash CL, one of the things that we pointed out is that, forward slash CL was showing signs of an uptrend, and then the overall direction began to change. So as of right now, if I were to want to trade DWT, I would wait. I would wait for this to push up. I would be as patient as you can. You don't know exactly, if this is going to act as a resistance again, or how much forward slash CL is going to push up. So all you can do is wait, and the more you wait for this thing to push up, let's say it gets rejected around this area and then it begins to make lower lows, then that means that DWT will then begin to, push up. And the more patient that you are, the better entry, again, if that's your focus, the better entry that you can get at. So be patient, be selective, and wait for that confirmation. And just know that it doesn't necessarily have to, this thing can change its direction back up. So just be extremely selective with your entry and understand like what it is that you're doing, that the direction is in your favor. So that's kind of the way that I would approach it for DWT. So nice little push up on forward slash NG once again, and again that EMA line is pointing straight up and not showing any sign of a downtrend just yet. So let's see if we have any other call outs. So FNKO. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I see why this one's being called out. I just do want to give you a little heads up that as of right now, it's kind of just in that consolidation phase, right? It's not really making higher highs, so I would just wait out for that. You've already waited long enough for this thing to sell off and build this margin for recovery. So again, the expectation is for this thing to go back up. You did your part in trying to get in for a good deal. Now we just need to wait for the confirmation of higher highs. So we can set our series of alerts and then kind of go from there. So forward slash CL is ripping it off. Okay, let's check that out. I don't know why my mouse is messing up, but Yep, there it goes. So watch out for this potential rejection. Again, it becomes overbought, overextended. So watch out for that. And just keep a close eye. If we begin to make lower lows, then again, that's in favor of DWT. You guys have a couple of good callouts today. Okay, so PayPal definitely on the oversold side. MACD and RSI look good. We just have to have confirmation on the 1 day, 1 minute chart of higher highs, right? I do want to point out that on the 180-day chart, it does not look like a good deal, and I think that we could all agree on that. I like the pattern. The opportunity that PayPal presents to us, but I would be more selective in getting it for an overall good deal, especially if this is going to be something that you plan to hold. My 2 cents. And if you agree, you guys can agree or write agree. If you don't agree, then you can write disagree, 100%. You guys sold. Congrats, Leo. Congrats. I can't even imagine how much money you made. I don't know where you got in, but congrats on that trade. Okay. Huge push up. Wow. It's not on the LPP video. It is in the LPP course. It's called Expansion Area, and it's on how to set up your TOS, right? You click here. You click Appearance. Oh, no, you click Time Access. And you go to Expansion Area, and I put 200. You can put 100. You can put 300. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. But, yeah, that's pretty much where I go. Of course. Huge push up on /CL. UWT, there it goes, approaching that top VWAP. And again, just note that the direction for this can very well change, right? So it was showing signs of a sell-off, but now we're going from pre-market to market open. So just know that, this thing can begin to make higher highs. And again, that would be then in favor of DWT. I'm sorry, UWT. All right. Ricky, do you ever plan on going back to swing trading? So again, it all comes down to the consistency aspect, right? Like, of course, I would love to not have to, I don't know. I mean, I like day trading, and I enjoy it because I can do it within a couple of hours and then just be done. But the consistency aspect for what I'm trading just isn't there. To put into perspective, like, we talked about the ticker symbol PayPal, right? And you look at this on the 180-day chart. There's a consistency, right? That if I can identify a good deal and when to sell it, and a good deal and when to sell it, and a good deal and when to sell it, I would feel comfortable swing trading it because it has a very consistent pattern. Looking at the overall market, right, /NQ, does this look consistent to you? There's a lot of change of direction, and now it looks overbought, so it makes sense on why it can pull back, and then when it does pull back, it then just begins to recover. And yeah, at the end of the day, I need the market to be consistent enough for me to feel comfortable trading it or swing trading it. So new day, same questions. Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? Did you swing trade or day trade when you were in school? Again, I mean, I was learning both, right? So it was still going back and forth with both. But obviously, while being in school, I couldn't be watching what it was that I was maybe day trading 100% of the time. So it definitely makes sense on why people with full-time jobs or going to school full-time, why swing trading can be something of value, right? It doesn't mean that that's the only option. It just means that it can be something of value. So what was your major? My major was technological entrepreneurship and management, which is just a fancy word for like a business degree, which at the end of the day, like I have to, for anyone pursuing business, right, it almost, except for like business management, I think that you can be put into like a management job for that. But my degree had to do a lot more with like help assisting us and teaching us the values of like entrepreneurship, which a huge part is just taking action and going for it, right? So, but I still encourage I still am very thankful for going to school and going to ASU because, I was able to meet very, motivated people that did influence, my life and where it is that I am today. So. Oh, business finance. Would I consider forward/CL to be signs of a reversal? No. If it's still around the same price range, around the SMA line, I still would not. If it begins to make higher highs, then that's a different thing. So you're going to have to give it more time because the MACD is super overextended and so is the RSI. So one of two things I would kind of look out for. If this thing begins to act as a support, you'll see that this thing pulls back, but it doesn't sell off and make lower lows. And then that's what can identify a change of direction. So again, it might pull back, but then it will only pull back maybe to like the middle VWAP or the SMA line, and then it'll begin to make higher highs. So keep a good eye out for that because that could be an indication of a reversal. If this thing just continues to push up for whatever reason, I don't know what was released. It had to be released around this general time, so 6:30. Okay. So I'm not too sure if this is the actual catalyst that drove the price up, but it looks like something that Morgan Stanley stated might have been the one that influenced it. And looking at the overall, the volume was definitely already picking up from the sell-off, and then it looks like it just bounced. So I'm not sure if this was a technical bounce or an overall fundamental bounce. But yeah, it happened right around what was that? 6:38, which is when that news article was released. I'm not too sure if the correlation between that is exact, but yeah. One of the things that I want to point out is, again, be very, very careful with this. Please, I want this to pull back as much as each and every single one of you. But please, I can't stress this enough. Don't try to predict the reversal and then get caught on something that is still uptrending. Do you guys get what I'm saying? It's happened to me so many times, and I don't want it to happen to you, but sometimes it's going to, right? So please, if you do choose to trade this, really watch your position size. Again, you're trading to learn, not trading to profit. Or I hope that you can paper trade. Again, I hope that you guys know how much I just picked my nose during the live stream. I apologize. I hope that you guys know that every single time that I make a mistake, regardless if I'm up or down on a position, and you guys will see my updates under trade ideas, I will tell you what I think of it. If I think that it's overbought but I'm still holding, then I tell you that it's not a good deal. I don't care about my position more than I care about you guys. Do you guys get what I'm saying? I would rather care to update our entire team about what is a better deal than for what I hope happens. Because what I hope happens, again, it's irrelevant to what's actually happening. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So I just hope that you guys understand the importance of having that confirmation. So yeah, I apologize for the nose picking thing. I didn't pick my nose. I put my nose or my finger like this, and I was like, whoa, I'm on camera. So Ricky was trading gold on his own. I'm so done. I'm so over it. This has been an exhausting week, not just because of trading, but my responsibilities with TechBuds, Learn Plan Profit, flipping wheels, and another task that has been added. We started another company, Ish and I, and we got that all planned out. And I was gonna make a video about it, but I didn't think you guys cared for it. And yeah, we had to remove certain people from our team. No one that you guys would ever see on the front screen, but people that worked with us on the back end. And then now we're taking on all that workload. So I really appreciate you guys being so patient with me. So I'm not sure, I'm not going to blame it at all on that. I just had, have to do a better job with my when it comes down to trading, it's my time to trade. And when it comes down to managing my other work, then to manage that, I think, a little bit more effectively and efficiently. So, yeah, but we're really excited for the new company. It might make sense to some of you guys. It might not make sense to others, but it's an interesting kind of like concept that has to do kind of with entertainment and experiences, and it has nothing to do with what I do with trading or my social media or anything like that. It has more to do with I don't even know how to. Well, once we have our first kind of like event, I'll present it to you guys, and then I'll kind of like show you guys the idea and what we're doing. So if you need an engineer, hit me up. Thank you, Brando. Appreciate it. So are you going to make more prank videos? No, as of right now, no. I'm really just focused more on. I was doing a lot of day in life videos, and we just try to change things up on the YouTube channel. And what ended up happening was, I felt like it became super dry. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like people at the end of it didn't care how much money I made, which makes sense. Didn't care about, my morning routine, because that's not, I felt like I've made so many like how-to and info-based videos that I wanted to change things up, and yeah, I wanted to change things up, and then I changed that up, and it did well for a little bit, and then now it became kind of like, very saturated, so, or very boring, or just the same thing over and over again. So I'm just gonna go back and forth from like, maybe some, not day in life videos, but kind of like lifestyle videos where it shows a little bit more of the back end stuff. And then I'll also be going back to some beginner based and how-to videos, and I hope that mix can be something that you guys can all at least either enjoy bits and pieces of. So do you ever consider look at employing LPP members for your businesses? Yeah, I mean, we've picked up members from Learn, Plan, Profit and TechBet Solutions that we've worked with, right? So right now, one of my biggest thing is like for apparel. I think we just picked up a guy for apparel that can do designs, but I wanted to work with someone that can work with like material. And there's a certain TechBet Solutions shirt that some of you guys might have seen that I've worn, and it's super fitted. And I wanted to create more like material that people actually want to continue to wear. Do you guys get what I mean? Like for it to be roughly around the same price, I just want it to be more of quality. So that's an area of opportunity. Another area of opportunity is creating like blogs. We do have a blog right now, but creating more content for that just has to do with investing in general, not just the stock market. So if there's any, this is kind of like, we're going to close out this video. You guys are going to have extra time this weekend. And please, this is me just like for those that want to, you don't have to do anything special, right? If you guys are interested in maybe, working with our team and you have a maybe special talent. So please like don't get offended. And again, I'm just saying this ahead of time. Please don't get offended if we choose to work with you or if we don't choose to work with you. It's really just based off of our current demand and what we currently want to do. It doesn't mean that we don't value you. It just means that, maybe right now our partnership is just not the best place or time for that. So if there's any area that you think that you have a special talent on, or something that you do for a living that can be of value, send me a direct message on Discord. Keep it super simple. If you can give me your first and last name, where you live, as in like the state. Don't tell me the city. I don't want your address, nothing like that. That's important to me, just so I know kind of what I have to work with, and maybe a strong area, right? A strong area that you have when it comes down to your profession or, a hobby that you do on the side, and maybe a picture of some of the work that you've done. So I can dance, bro. We don't want dancers. I mean, it's not that I don't want a dancer. I'm not sure if you're joking or not, but yeah, I don't think, yeah. But yeah, so let's just take it easy today. Let's enjoy. I can pick my nose. Hey, Federico, I can do that too, I guess, right? So I really do appreciate you guys' time. If you guys would like to maybe work with us on a closer basis, then who knows? This can maybe be something that we can do well together. We're really going to be really selective. This isn't even something that I planned on announcing. You guys just brought it up. So just shoot me a message. It's like kind of like shoot your shot, and we'll add you to our contact list. And anytime that we have any questions, then we'll reach out. So yeah, we'll kind of go from there. So looking for that blue and gray long sleeve. Sounds good. Yeah, so I really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope and wish you guys a blessed and amazing weekend. Please be safe. For those that are, have a TD Ameritrade account, you guys can do trading on demand. So don't be afraid to utilize that. Be selective with what you choose to trade, if anything. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to message me on Discord. So you guys is pushing up. Yeah, I am keeping an eye on natural gas, and I thought I had it on natural gas. Yeah, it looks like it's pushing up. The MACD looks good. And overall, it's still a nice little uptrend. So keep an eye out for that. But again, definitely natural gas has been showing signs of an aggressive push up. So let's be patient with this one. So I appreciate you guys' time. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team. Now all of a sudden I'm tired. All right, take it easy. Bye.